guys, it's Kyle. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about George's backstory because we sort of got a bonus chapter, like a side story chapter about George Piggy, and it's called Distorted Memory, and I made a video where I escaped it. That was the last video. Yeah, the last video. And that chapter gave me like many answers, even with the little dialogue provided, but it also gave me many questions. And I believe that, I guess I'll just jump right into it, but I believe that George is half infected, and I believe that Bunny may also be half infected too, but in a different way, and I'll talk about that probably in the next video that I do, like a Piggy predictions theory video, whatever. But the reason why I believe George Piggy is half infected is I think that he can sort of become infected and then unbecome infected. And the reason why in the full storyline video I didn't say that George was hit in the beginning, like the sound that we heard was George. The reason why I didn't say that is because like if George was hit, he would have turned infected. So I didn't know the full answer for that. So I didn't say he was the one who was hit. I said we were the one who was hit and we can't become infected, which I don't really believe, but still. So basically I think George was hit that night, or early morning, late night, I don't know, when we came looking for him. I think that George was hit and he turned infected for a bit and then he turned back. And also what I think is really cool is there's like a game where it shows fan-made skins, and one of them is George's. One of them is George, and he sort of goes infected, turns out infected, so he's like going in and out, and I think it's really cool. And so sort of my theory is kind of related to that skin, I guess. And that also answers my question. I think I was correct when I said that the reason why George had a bat was because he was infected at one point. And remember, like the first video I made where I said Bunny is still alive? I had, like, it was in different parts. First, I talked about the notes, then I talked about sort of the theory, then I talked about questions, and then at the very end I tried to answer my questions. And one of my questions was why George has a bat, and I remember, like, I was like, why does George have a bat? It was supposed to just be a silly question, but later on I started thinking more about it. It's like, why does George have a bat? So when I tried answering the questions, one of the questions I tried answering was why George has a bat, and what I said was, the reason why George has a bat is because he was infected at one point. And I sort of have evidence backing that up now. Because maybe also he could have infected others, I don't know, but I don't think he infected others, but what I think is he knows that he turns infected, but once he turns fully infected, he doesn't know what's going on, unlike other animals who become infected and stay infected, because we know that the other animals know what is happening, they just can't control their body, but they know what is happening because of the chalkboard in school above the teacher's desk. So we know that we know that they know what's happening. I don't think George does until he becomes uninfected. And I think distorted memory is just like a nightmare, obviously, and memory is supposed to be the nightmare chasing him, but I think that the cutscenes were based off of events that actually happened in the with George, and it's sort of like he's sort of recalling that memory, except in a nightmare version, I guess. And also, George, or not George, there's some signs, not notes, but signs around, and one of them says, you relive that night, night or something. I'll put it up on the screen. But that basically means that it kind of sucks, but it means that he has the same nightmare every single night. And I know that some people have a theory. I don't entirely think it's this. I don't know who originally thought of it. I originally heard it from Creekcraft, because I just watched the videos since he uploads one of the theory videos every day. So I normally watch his first. I don't know who had the idea originally. I don't entirely agree with it, but he thinks that TSP means the sister pig or sister piggy, which is Peppa Pig. And in that case, I guess I was sort of correct when I said that TSP probably either means, not TSP. Don't trust the SI probably means don't trust the signal, don't trust the sisters, don't trust the sister, don't trust the siblings, don't trust the sibling. That's what I thought it was. So I guess it could be don't trust the sister. But I don't really think that Peppa/Penny is TSP. By the way, if you're confused, Penny is Peppa. The reason why the name is Penny is copyright reasons. Obviously, Minitoon doesn't want the game to be taken down or anything like that. So, yeah, don't trust the sister. It could be that, I don't know, I don't think so, but it could be something like that. I don't know. Also, there's red eyes when you go out to the backyard, and I don't really know what it is. It could just be the dream, but it also could be something like something's watching him. Maybe it's himself, or maybe it's his evil side, maybe like his infected side. Maybe it's Mr. Potato. Maybe it's TSP, whoever that is. Maybe it's Peppa. Maybe it's like a family member. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know what the eyes are, but also, forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, we also know that only 3 out of the family drink potions, because there's potion bottles. There's 3 potion bottles in hospital. I'm not sure. Not sure. I assume that's the family and not like Barry and Daddy Pig and Mommy Pig, but it could be something like that, although I don't think Barry would have drank in the potion if he was the one making the potions. But there was 3 potions on like a countertop in hospital. I don't have a screenshot, but I remember seeing them, so I assume that means that Peppa, Daddy Pig, and Mommy Pig drank the potion, and George didn't because he ran away. Or maybe, like, before Peppa became infected and ran away, George... I don't know. But I think George got hit by Peppa, and it didn't entirely infect him. It just sort of made it so he can become infected or not. And you can see that he crouches on the ground, he's standing up. He says, "I don't feel so well." Then he crouches on the ground and his eyes start turning red. And then that's when he wakes up in Mall. That's what we said in the sewers in school when we escape, we say, I don't feel so well. So maybe, like, when we were sleeping, well, I don't know when we were sleeping. I don't think we've slept since we were knocked out or something. But I think somehow we got sort of infected or hit, or I don't know. But I think that we started turning infected, but not entirely. I'm not sure. I don't know why we said that, but it could be sort of similar. It could be related to George when George said, I don't feel so well. But also, can someone answer my question that no one's answered, and I can't find anyone answering this on YouTube? Why is Mommy Pig's arms out in station like the bot? I don't understand. I've been asking everyone, and I know it's not like just a glitch for me or like one game, because it's in every server and it's been 2 days that I've seen it like this, and I still don't know why. So if you guys know the answer, or think you know the answer, or maybe, I don't know, just tell me, okay? Yeah. Okay, now back to George. So there's another sign that I got a screenshot for. Like, these are just the 2 signs that I think are really the most important in my theory. And it says something like, they left you when they went to volunteer, which basically means that George was home alone, or George and Peppa were home alone, which explains why Peppa ran away. But that doesn't explain why 3 of them drank a potion. So I feel like George was home alone, and I don't know why Peppa was there. In the end cutscene, maybe it's not like entirely accurate, like I said. It might be sort of related to the real events, but not entirely. It's just something I don't really understand. So, like I said, I don't really understand it, but this can also be some stuff like the signs are sort of memories of the event. Maybe. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of questions I have for this one, and there's just a lot of questions I have, and then I also have a couple answers. But also there's like a couple pictures with an X over George, which I know in the like real house means that that's probably their victim, the infected victim, to try to get George. That's what I think it means. That's my theory. But why is it in the dream? I don't know. Maybe it's like, I'm not really sure why it's in the dream. That's one of my questions too. Also, forgot what I was gonna say. And I wonder why it's like memory, not nightmare. Well, I guess because it's a memory sort of remade into a nightmare, I guess. One of my main questions, besides why are Mommy Pig's arms out in the station, one of my main questions is, like, how would George be half infected? Like, why didn't he turn totally infected when he was hit? So basically, now I'm going to sort of recap this whole theory. It was a pretty short theory, not like an entirely short video. I was sort of going over the map and a bit of the theory. But basically, my theory is that George Piggy is half infected because he can go into infection, sort of, and then he can go back out. So that's my theory. Also, I totally forgot about this. I don't have a screenshot, but Minitoons said that he's moving, so the chapter 12 is going to be out in, like, not this week, but maybe next week. But he is releasing a new game mode, and he thinks that's going to be the most entertaining. So sadly, we have to wait longer, but he's been doing a great job lately, so that's good job for him. Yeah, so that's basically the end of the video. I have another theory about Bunny that I'm pretty excited to talk about, and I also have a theory, I mean not a theory, a video that I want to do reading your guys' theories, and I just want to give you guys a hint. The bunny theory is based off of one of your guys' theories that you put in the comments. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, that'll be the end of this video. Till next time, goodbye!